I see language as a window into the human soul and the human mind.
I've watched your videos when I was, like 13 or 14.
Psychology, neuroscience, or productivity. We've been delving into so many books. You read 4 books at a time?
Just like Luca.
4 books.
Exactly.
Me 3 for now, but...
Discipline beats talent, and work, in the sense of work beats talent.
Absolutely.
I think.
One of the most important lessons I've learned is...
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am here today with a very special guest, Luca Lampariello.
Hi.
Luca, I have so much love for you. I remember watching your videos, and I think I was, well, a little bit younger than I am now. So
time goes by.
Time goes by, but the man, the legend remains.
Oh, come on. Don't flatter me too much.
So for those of you who don't know who Luca is, Luca, can you give it a short, sweet introduction?
Sweet introduction. I'll keep it short. I'm Italian, and what I do is mainly speaking languages and helping people to learn languages and to understand the beauty of speaking a lot of languages, because I am convinced that this can really change your world and the rest of the world.
Exactly, and this video is going to be a bit different. We're not going to be talking about language learning. We're not going to talk about, all the languages that we speak. You guys can see that on Luca's channel. You can see it, of course, here on my channel. But something that Luca and I found that we have explored and are really passionate about is self-development, personal development, and how the languages that we speak have enabled us to explore different, almost lives in a way, and have different experiences in a way that we wouldn't have been able to otherwise. So when did you kind of first get into personal development?
That's a good question. I think it started some 6 or 7 years ago, when I started realizing that, when you have a YouTube channel and you know that you have to be able to do a lot of things. Like, as a YouTuber, she's a YouTuber, a lot of people watch our videos and they think, okay, they just made a video, but you're holding a microphone, we have to look at the lighting, and this is just one aspect of video making, but it's not just about video making, you have to develop so many skills, not just to have your channel, but to grow as a person, and if you want to speak multiple languages. So when we met a few days ago, we were talking about the beauty of not only speaking languages, which is the common anchor, so to speak, but then the conversation evolved into what it really means to evolve as a person with time. And so languages, as far as I'm concerned, because the people who watch my channel, they think it's all about language learning. Some people.
Or it's all about the method. It's all about, so what structures do you use? What method do you use to learn?
But the reality is that it's so much more as far as I'm concerned, as far as Lina is concerned. It's all about, for example, I'm very passionate. We discovered that we have this common passion of psychology.
Yes, exactly.
Psychology, neuroscience.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing, because at the end of the day, also just even if you speak one language or 2 languages, the way that you express yourself, even in your native language, like I realized every single day this week I've learned a new word in English, and I thought, this is meant to be my native language. And every time I kind of enrich my vocabulary, I realized that my emotional experiences change. If I can better define something in a particular language, I almost feel more connected to the world, to other people, and
It's an overall experience. So I think that when we talk about language learning, that's fantastic. And if you come to my channel, if you look at Lina's channel, it's Lina too. She's an inspiration. If you want to learn more languages, etc. But you have to remember that language learning and languages in general are a means of communication.
Exactly.
And then you have to you talk through the languages, but you also have to learn a bunch of other things to make your life richer. And self-development, for example, psychology, neuroscience, or productivity. We've been delving into so many books. You read 4 books at a time?
Just like Luca.
4 books.
Exactly.
Me 3 for now, but
no, exactly. And I think as well, because when you read about these things, and whether we do it in our native languages or in other languages or whatever, then it's also about getting to know yourself better. And the more that you know yourself and the way that your brain functions, the way that you function, the kind of systems that go on in your mind, the better you can express those to other people, which it's almost like a domino effect.
There's a famous linguist who goes by the name of Steven Pinker, who says something that really struck a chord with me, and he said, I see language as a window into the human soul and the human mind, you know. So language learning has helped me, of course, figure out new ways of expressing yourself, new words, new sounds, but it's first and foremost a way to look into yourself and understand who you are and who you stand for. And through that process of learning languages, you develop this discipline of, as I was sharing this information, that I wake up in the morning at 5:30 or 6 and develop this discipline, then you learn more about yourself more and more. And this has been an amazing journey for me, for you, and hopefully for you as well.
Yeah. So what do you think have been I'm going to say 3 most impactful lessons that you've learned over the last 5 years about yourself and kind of where you learned them from? As in
exactly 3, or it can be 5.
It can be 5.
It can
just
be 1.
Whatever comes to mind.
I'm kidding.
1.5.
One of the most important lessons I've learned is that it's really important to be self-aware. Self-awareness is really important. Most people, I think, navigate through life without really knowing why they react. They react to life instead of acting upon life, meaning that things happen to them and they react as a consequence because they don't know. You know, when something happens to you and you automatically react. And one of the things that I've developed, and I think it's been a big lesson, is through language learning, I've developed this language awareness and awareness of myself. Of course, I still haven't figured out exactly the whole thing because we are complex things. But
it's a process.
It will last probably forever. The second thing I've learned is that, as I said at the beginning, I was very much into language learning, especially in the last 10 years. But then I figured out that language learning is just one component, you know, of your life. And I've learned that in this world, this is one of the biggest lessons. If you want to keep, making progress, you have to learn how to explore other things and constantly update your knowledge and your skills. Otherwise, you're going to lag behind. We're in Berlin here. We met so many amazing people, and you realize, like, the updates and the work they put every day into uploading and updating information.
Exactly. And I think it's also something that you'll see in common with all of these people. You know, you look at them and you're like, oh, wow, they have all these subscribers, they have all these followers, but, you know, they also themselves, like, I guess that's a testament to them as people. And it's amazing, like, I found it when we were at this event yesterday. I was so inspired and happy, actually, to be in a room with people who are further than me, who inspired me, where I can, you know, it's a mix of realize, like, you don't want to be in a room where you're the smartest person in the room.
Exactly, that's what
because you're in the wrong room, if that's the case. And something that I have actually on my vision board in my room is get comfortable with discomfort. And also, you said that as well. You said yesterday in your speech, all the growth happens in the most awkward and uncomfortable situations. I'm getting goosebumps, Jesus. But no, I think this is really meaningful because every time I feel uncomfortable, I think to myself, this is good because this means I'm growing.
You know, I was thinking yesterday, when we had this event, the many people, we had to do some kind of presentation. Everybody had to stand up. And many people said, oh my God, I'm trembling, I'm scared of talking. But then you could tell that once this happens, once they talk in front of everybody, then relax a little bit and their confidence grows a tiny bit. But you probably, and I'm not sure, might be scared of public speaking because this scares a lot of people. But once you do it, I'm personally scared of flying, especially some friends of mine, they threw themselves with the parachute, you know, the thing that, and you've done maybe bungee jumping.
Remember I jumped off I did base jumping,
I said, oh my God, I would never do that. But if I did it, I'm pretty sure that my confidence will grow a tiny notch because the things that scare you are the things that keep you from growing. And once you do them, bam, you know, you make progress.
So there's this principle, I think it comes from sports psychology, and it's NAF and NAC. If you're a NAC person or a NAF person, have you heard of this?
No.
So the NAC is, I think it's needs to achieve or something like that. So the people that focus or have a NAC kind of mindset are people who, let's say you and I are playing a game of tennis, and the NAC person, they're like, okay, I'm going to go into this, do my absolute best, train for it. If I lose, I don't mind because I'm going to learn from it. The NAF person, it's need to avoid failure. So they go into the tennis match and they're like, shit, okay, everything that I do has to be to win. I can't, like, I'm not going to allow myself to lose. If I lose, it's the end of the world. Like, I'm exaggerating a bit, but, and actually what tends to happen, and I've noticed this with myself, is when I'm in a negative state of mind, I actually attract more of that negativity, whereas switching it up in seeing, you know, not seeing problems as problems, but seeing them as challenges, actually tends to help you find a solution quicker and get through those challenging times.
Absolutely. When you were talking, two things came to mind. There are a lot of people with this mentality of I have to win this game, I have to be here. And the second thing about language learning, the people who are constantly worried about making mistakes, or the people who actually tend not to speak the language because they fear that they're going to make a mistake, and they so-called perfectionists, and then they don't actually speak the language. And language learning and bungee jumping, parachuting, throwing yourself, it's everything about learning and doing. And I know that it's easier said than done, but if you have some problems with perfectionism, you should get out there and learn that the mistakes are actually the best friends you have.
Exactly. I think perfectionism could be another topic for another video, but I think perfectionism comes from things that were ingrained in us in childhood, that we were taught to that our worth came from achievements, that our worth came from finishing things. That definitely was the case for me, and it took me many years to beat perfectionism and be happy with myself, because it's almost like this black hole that takes you in. Because I don't know.
So it's the relationship you have with your parents, the relationship you have with yourself, the relationship you have with your peers. If something has happened in school, if you've been bullied, all these things actually, you carry. I also had, perfectionism in the family, but then I realized that my life is my life and not the life of my parents. So in general, I think, we're all blessed with. Your parents give you a lot of stuff, but parents, family, there's always pros and cons. And I think that the best way to navigate through life would be to get the best and to try to get rid of the negative aspects that come from the heritage, from family or from friends, etc. Little by little. This is something else that language learning has taught me to get rid of some things that are ingrained in my brain, because I heard so many things. Oh, you have to be perfect, you have to say this and that, and
or even you have to do everything all at once. When you said this what just stood out to me is the little by little thing. That's something, to be honest, I still find really difficult in things where I'm used to finishing like a whole project in a day, and it's really hard for me to be happy or satisfied with having only done a part of the task. But I think that's also a habit as well. The more that you kind of train yourself to work in a new way, or maybe to learn in a new way, or to speak to people in a new way, whatever it is, having that step-by-step approach, I think it's a habit that you build. Just like, the idea of discipline. It's just about replacing certain habits with other habits.
Good. And speaking of which, the third lesson, now that it comes to my mind when you ask me how many lessons you've learned,
there you go.
Just put it 3. I like the number 3.
3 is a good number.
Actually these two things are connected. It's habits and the possibility of achieving the allegedly impossible. And that is, with habits and with discipline, you can accomplish anything. These shows like American's Got Talent, UK's Got Talent, they use the word talent, which is it's a great title, UK's Got Talent, or American's Got Talent, but the reality is it can be a little bit misleading in the sense that we shape and sculpt our talent. So with habits, with discipline, you can become who you want. Do you want to become do you want to speak 14, 15, 16 languages? You can do it. Do you want to become a super cool athlete? Do you want to run a marathon? You can do everything if you put your mind to it. That's the other lesson I've learned, because so many people look at me and say, 14 languages, 10 languages, oh my God.
And then you see how much work actually goes into it, and people don't want to do the work.
Waking up at 5:30.
Sometimes 6.
6.
No, but exactly. Discipline beats talent, and work, in the sense of work beats talent.
Absolutely.
I think. Because you can be talented, but someone can outwork you because they want it more. It's about, I think it's really good if you have a talent for something, as in, I think talent could, in the easiest way, be described as something that you find relatively easy to do. And you don't have to kind of, rack your brain about it. But at the same time, it only goes so far. Same with fitness,
Same
you also
thing.
like, if I don't go to the gym or follow my routine, doesn't matter how well my metabolism functions, I'm not gonna you know, achieve the goals that I want to achieve, because
Yep.
I'm not doing the things that are going to get me there.
And there's another thing to add, is that talent sometimes it can be a double-edged sword, in the sense that if you use, he's got talent, she's got talent, and I don't, then you have the excuse of not doing anything. And it backfires. Instead, you should say, I can do it. It's not about talent. I want to do that, and if you want to do that, trust me, you can accomplish everything that you want.
I love this, and I heard it a few years ago. It was like, don't do it and just see and try if it
Just do it.
Succeed.
You know?
Just do it.
Do it. What I always say: do and learn, learn and do. That's as simple as that.
And learn as well, you know, from people who have achieved what you've achieved. Like, I've watched your videos when I was, you know, like 13 or 14. It's crazy, honestly. And
wow.
you know, and I thought, like, wow, that was, I think, the time that I started learning my, like, fourth language properly. And I thought, you know, there are people that can do this. There are people to learn from. And I think sometimes, you know, we can feel a bit discouraged because they look like they're miles and miles ahead. But everyone starts somewhere. And if you don't start today, that's just one more day that you've missed.
Start now.
Exactly.
If you want. Whatever you want to accomplish, start today.
Exactly. So, Luca, any final words without?
That's it. If you want to, like, think about it, is there something in your mind right here and right now that you want to accomplish? You've been thinking about it for the last 3 weeks, 3 months. Just think about it. Just start doing it. Right here and right now, it can change your life. That's the message.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Luca. That was amazing.
Thank you for having me, Lina.
I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I will link all of Luca's pages, Instagram, websites down below. Amazing to have you on my channel.
You.
And
Thank you.
I'll see you guys next time.
Hugs from Berlin.
Yes, ciao.
Bye.